Son.
44. What do you think about that?
It doesn't seem nearly as old as I would have told you. It seemed like 10 years ago. I feel like I'm gonna blink and I'm gonna be there, man.
Yeah, man. No, it's wild. It's wild. I'm I'm one of those people though that I am alarmingly unaffected by how old I am. Like I legitimately do not care. I haven't cared since I was probably, I think 30 hit me kind of hard just because, you know, we were having kids and moving on in life and all this kind of stuff, but 40 didn't phase me one bit. And every year that goes by, I'm like, all right, whatever. But I did splurge.
I had a great time when you turned 40, for the record.
We did have a great time when I turned 40. That's right.
That was the Empire birthday, right?
That was the Empire year.
That was
Yep. That was a good party. That was a good party. I splurged a little bit. I never do this. I hate spending money on myself. I hate it. It's just it's just always been one of my biggest pet peeves is I hate spending money on myself. So, but I just did. I'm not gonna ruin the fun and the surprise, but I just today, for my birthday Wednesday, just fulfilled a childhood dream of mine, is what I would say. So hopefully I'll have pictures and videos on Wednesday. I think Wednesday is the day that it's going to happen. So
give us a clue. What does it roughly have to do with?
Well, it's right in line with my personal brand, right in line.
Okay.
So when you think of me, I'll narrow it down to five categories. It either has to do with
Jeeps,
my family,
your family,
my friends. Yep.
Jeeps,
my Jeep,
the Undertaker,
my boat,
and the boat.
My boat and the Undertaker.
Had it the whole way.
No, man, it is in one of those five things. I know that doesn't narrow it down. I will say I'll narrow it down even further. It is about one of my two favorite toys in the world. I will narrow it down to that.
I have an idea what it is.
But I did it. I go, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna do it. My wife's been begging me to do something fun for myself. I hate doing it, but I finally pulled the trigger and I did it. So there you go, man. That's gonna be the highlight next week for me.
Can't wait.
All right, we got to talk about the elephant in the room, and we're not going to get political on it, but this week the government said you can go without a mask this week. I just want to be on record. So 5 years from now, when we go back, this is the week that the government said you can go without a mask as long as you're fully vaccinated. The question that I have, that a lot of people have been posting about and all that kind of stuff, I mean, what does this do? Does this make you feel safer, less safe? I guess in context of this show, does it change anything you're doing or with any of your clients, or has it even come up in conversation this week is what I'm asking.
I mean, for us, not really, man. You know, whatever the reason is, or the mix of just the people that we work with, or the industries that they're in, or just our overall approach to things, like maybe it's just, you know, being around it for too long, so you're desensitized, but like shit has felt normal, or at the very least very close to it, for like a good couple of months now.
Yep.
You know, so it's weird. I've been keeping up pretty tight, like almost daily, to updates. And I missed that yesterday. So I thought people were messing with me. You know, does it change much for us? No, not really.
Yeah.
You know, I think that what it does is it's pretty much kind of, I'm going to choose my words carefully. There are a handful of people that are quickly running out of excuses. Mm-hmm. And that's very interesting to me. You know, It's weird. I just had a client call about an hour before the show in the restaurant industry. So like was punched square in the teeth, hit harder than anybody. And we had to walk back some of these specials and promotions that we put out there because he quite literally doesn't have time to take any more orders. Straight dining room, takeout bar, everything. If you called and wanted to give him money for food at some point tonight, he'd tell you better luck next week. And because of what he did during the pandemic. And
yeah, you stole my punchline. Keep going.
I have a knack for doing that. But so guys like that, they're all crushing it right now. But on the inverse of that, the people that found excuses not to, some valid, some not so much. Those people are going to be left kind of holding it right now. So I feel for them. Our inbox is open if you need help. But yeah, man, internally, our shit, we've kind of been there. Partially just because of where we're at and everybody, like the amount of people that are vaccinated around you, where if you had people that were high risk or whatever, like they've kind of been taken care of. So, yeah, like it's awesome. It's great news. It's another step back to, heading towards Roaring 20s 2.0. But internally, I mean, we've kind of been operating there.
Yeah, it's the two words I said last night. We were talking about it, Siobhan and I, and because I like to get the updates. And I told her last night, I said, I'm done. I'm done talking about it. And this is going to be, I said, I'm going to talk about it on my show with Adam tomorrow, because I want to be on the record about saying I'm done. I'm done with talking about it. I'm done worrying about it. I'm done, and I told her this last night, and this is going to sound a little hokey, but we just went for a drive around the lake, ripped the doors, the top off the Jeep and ripped around the lake last night, just for fun. And I turned to her and I go, I'm really proud of myself for doing my part in this whole thing. Like I did my part. It was what, like March 16th last year, whatever that was, where everything shut down, March 15th, 16th. And now it's May 15th. So it's what is that? 14 months.
Yep.
I go, literally, I did my part for 14 months, not for myself, but yeah, sure. I shouldn't say that, for myself and for the people around me. I didn't see my mother. I didn't see my friends. I didn't see my family. I didn't see any of that. I stood up in that room upstairs, literally for 14 months, and I did my part. And then I got my shots, and then I'm clear by, at least a month. But I felt like I did my little part. This goes back to what my grandmother always said is take care of your 3-foot circle. It's all you can do in life. I've written blogs about this. I've talked about this a million times. If more people just took care of their 3-foot circle and did the things that they should be doing, the world would be pretty darn cool. So I did. I turned to her last night, and I was very hokey about it. I'm like, I'm proud of myself that I did this. And she goes, you should be. She said, it's really hard what you did. Now, it has nothing to do, it pales in comparison to what she did every day. I get that. But I was kind of, I think you need to spike the football every once in a while. It's fun to score touchdowns. And I think that's why I wanted to be on record with this. But I'm still going to follow the rules. I guess it's now like up to the individual businesses, whether they, what their rules are, is my understanding. And I'm still going to follow those because I have respect for those entrepreneurs, and I'm still going to, that's what they feel comfortable with. I think about the Raymores. I haven't had a chance to ask them yet, but it's like, what are somebody like the Raymores going to do from here on in? So it's just really interesting to me, but I'm again, going on record saying I'm done with the whole thing. I'm not going to do the daily updates anymore. I'm just like you, I've been trying to stay informed, checking the numbers, all those things. And I'm like, you know what? My kids, Taven gets vaccinated this afternoon for the first time. Paige is getting hers next week. The minute those two are clear, man, we're on the first jet plane to Florida. Like, we are out. So
what are you doing down there?
Actually, you should probably come with me, is what I'm thinking. I want to ask you about that. I want to ask you about that in a minute too. But I did take my mask off in the wine shop last night, and I felt like I was not wearing underwear. Like it was just weird. But I got permission from the owner. She's like, "You're vaccinated?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Feel free to take your mask off if you'd like." And I was like, "Oh, that's kind of a cool thought." And I did. And I was like, "Ooh," it just felt weird. It just felt really weird. But no, man, it is on. Roaring 2.0 or 20s 2.0. Boat goes in the water tomorrow. Like it is on, and I am so here for it.
I think everybody is, man, and it's fun for us. It's fun for our people that have grinded through and innovated and worked through it. The most beautiful part about working as hard as you have to when you do your own shit is that you get to reap the benefits of it.
Yep.
So like it's on for you because like you got through it. I was talking with Alex, who runs the coffee shop next door the other day. Their takeout register, like they had to build a whole extra POS system for their like online ordering business. And it is as much as the other two normal registers.
Yep.
And like that's not just gonna magically go away, So like I don't know, dude. I'm just so hyped for it. I mean, we had like 2 meetings this week, and like everybody always wants to do stuff when we're shorthanded. Dave's on his way to North Carolina right now. His first vacation in like 9 years. So of course, the week that I'm flying solo, everyone's like, "Hey, can we talk about this year? Hey, can we talk?" I'm like, "Yes, we can."
Yep.
But yeah, man, if you work through it, like now you get to spike the football. Now you get to, just kind of bask in that sunshine a little bit. If we can just figure out the like small like staffing problem and finally clear that last hurdle, then everybody will be great. But I had a conversation with a client yesterday. We're talking about that. We're like, that's kind of like the last hurdle. It's like if we can just get staff back in here, it'll be good. And I'm like, what would May 11th, 2020 version of you tell you if you said us being busy and this dining room being jam-packed and being short-staffed was our biggest problem? We would have taken that in a heartbeat, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it's just fucking on. And we've been talking about it, ad nauseum for the last 9 months, but like you're already seeing it. It's graduation weekend at BU. There's a million people outside. Some of them are parked the wrong way on the street, but whatever. But yeah, dude, it's just game on.
And it's so much fun to see because, you can tell who's been putting in the work. You can tell who's looked at other revenue extensions. I guarantee you, the people that are taking takeout from your guy next door, like you said, that's not going away. That has become a new habit that was forced upon them. That now it's like, hey, wait a minute, I really like doing this. Hey, wait a minute, I really like getting Instacart. Hey, wait a minute, I really like subscription seltzers that we have now. I found a brand from one of the local shops called Olipop, and it's like a low calorie flavored seltzer. It is by far one of the top 5 beverages of any kind I've ever had in my life. That is the first beverage subscription I have ever signed up for in my entire life, ever. And now it gets delivered to my door, and I freaking crush these things all day long, and they're delicious. So I just think there's just so much, the innovation that came out of all of this, and I know it's not over, but I just think the innovation that came out of this is just going to springboard us into an economic climate for the next 36 to 48 months that it's going to pale in comparison to anything we've ever seen in our lifetime. I truly believe that. It's not just me being overly optimistic like I can be. I truly believe that people are I can't wait to see what the lake looks like tomorrow. You should see, I just drove down East Lake Road. I literally counted 12 boats that are being pulled down East Lake Road just in one pass. People are just ready to just rip. And I'm like, I'm looking at my calendar, like with these festivals and things that I need to be at for clients. Like I got to be at one in July, August, September, November, like travel, like Houston, Orlando, Chicago. And I'm like, man, I'm going to be so excited to hop on a plane again and just go see people and just hug people and just be like, oh my God, I can't believe we just went through all of this, but now we have something better to look forward to, So I love the innovation that came out of all of this. I love to see how creative people were. I love to see the new stuff that came out of all this. And it's just like, we knew this time was coming. We didn't know when this was going to happen, that things were kind of officially opening up. But I know we're saying like the same things, but man, it just feels so good. It really does.
110%.
I love it. I love it. So let's look at the flip side. Let's look at the flip side and you didn't work on your business, or you didn't innovate, and you didn't do this and you didn't do that. I already know the answer, but what would you tell somebody that picked up the phone and be like, oh man, the world's back. People are spending money. People are out. People are on the lake. People are at the Braylock. People are at this, they're at that. I want a piece of the new roaring 20s. What's the advice there?
We better fucking start today.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's the equivalent of, it's beach season, and everybody that worked out and ate right for the last 14 months is looking really good today. Like, you're not going to be ready this weekend or even next weekend, but like, let's get you ready for 3 months from now. And nothing, we've talked about it a bunch. Nothing really changed. Things got exposed and things got amplified.
Yep.
That was it. You know what I mean? Like we talked about, like, say the economy shut down, like, artificially, but did it really? Like, people still had money. People are getting paid more to stay home than to work. Like even the people that aren't working have money,
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of, how are you positioning yourself to get the attention of the people that are spending that money?
Mm-hmm.
Like, spoiler alert, like, you're already behind the 8 ball.
Yep.
And, chances are, if you're sitting here on May 14th and you're waiting until right now to start thinking about that and start executing against it, you probably weren't there 15 months ago. Mm-hmm. So it's just one of those things where, okay, like people's behavior and habits have changed. Everybody, particularly, I'll say 35 and up, has gotten significantly more comfortable with the digital world than they were 2 years ago, year and a half ago. Like, my dad's a great example. He'll be 61 in September, and the shit he buys for no reason, because he sees a Facebook ad for it now, is crazy. So like, he drives a Nissan Titan truck, and like those Facebook ads that you'll see that are actually against Facebook policy, but that's different. It's a conversation for a different day, where like basically it'll say like your last name on it, or like Atlanta fan living in a New York world, or stuff like that. He keeps getting hit with these like Facebook ads for like hoodies and shirts that just say Titan on them. Not Nissan Titan, just Titan, kind of in a similar font. He's bought 3 of them. And I'm like, Dad, what are you doing? And he's like, I see that. Like, he would have never done that 2 years ago.
No.
And that's just one goofy hoodie, but like, dude, it's true about everything. Like Instacart, like the amount of people I know in their 50s and 60s that log into an app and have their groceries delivered to their house, that probably would have never done that in their lifetime.
Nope.
If it wasn't for this, is absurd.
Yep.
And to your point, they're not going to stop now that you can just go back into Wegmans without a mask. They're like, wow, that's convenient. Wow, that's worth the $6.
Yeah.
So like, all right, that's the new playing field. How are we going to get your team out there?
Yep. It's like, I love the reason Instacart is so brilliant, not because of the service that it provides. I don't know. Do you use the service? Have you ever used it?
I have not.
So one of the things they do, 2 of the things they do that I want to highlight is You log back in. Obviously, you link your credit card to it the first time. You do all the setup. You do a two-step verification. Is this your email? Blah blah blah. So they do that. So that takes, I don't know, 6 minutes to get your first time set up. It remembers all of your purchases. So it puts together a separate category for like Wegmans that says your items. So it says all the categories. So it says like, produce and fruit and veggies and this, blah, 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 all the way down. Cool. So you search by everything here. Then once you make selections, it now throws it into a separate column that says my items. So I don't even need to go back to the main menu to get to my items. So literally, I've ordered groceries while walking the dogs in about 90 seconds. You can order groceries in about 90 seconds. You go click, 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 quantity up, quantity up. Oh, I need 6 bananas. I need 2 bags of onions. I want 2 boxes of Honey Nut Cheerios, and you're done. Place order. Then it says, this is the brilliant part. It says you've ordered, I just looked last week, you've ordered 77 times. You have saved 95 hours of grocery shopping. They literally put it in front of you to say, look what we're providing as a value. They don't even beat around the bush. They're like, we have saved you 95 hours of walking through a grocery store. And when you think about it, it's like, holy cow. Like that's literally time that you found.
That's 4 full days.
It's 4 full days. What can you do if I handed you 4 full days right now and I said, Adam, go biz dev and go find a revenue extension for yourself? Like you'd have to buy more whiteboard space.
Correct.
So it's that kind of, and to your point, I ain't never going back ever. Now, do I have to go up and get a few extra things once in a while? Because yes, I still go to the grocery store. I'm not going to be that, stupid about it. But I don't sit there with my list and my coupons and whatever and push a cart through a store for an hour and a half. Zero chance that's ever happening again. So it's just, and was Instacart a thing before the pandemic? Yes. But guarantee you, heck of a lot more people are put it into their routine now. It is absolutely one of those things that it broke my routine. Now it's in my routine and it will never come out of the routine ever, which I love. I love innovation like that.
And I think the big keynote for that is the one thing that it's really shown a lot of businesses and a lot of people is just how much people value time, whether they realize it, whether they admit it, everything, right? Like perfect example. If I get lunch from next door, I will order it online. Like I will order it, like give me the time to pick it up, and then I just walk over and get it. No waiting in line. No, I can't. What was that? Anything, which is like literally for me 2.5 minutes.
Yeah,
maybe 3. But because I can did it, and like to your point, it saves your order right in there. So it's just, yep, boom. I literally just did it for lunch right before the show.
Yep.
And would they have gotten that business anyway? Maybe not though. And like what people don't, especially like on our end, when we have like the conversations and like, I don't know like what Instacart does, but now you have a captive audience that you can contact whenever. Hey, Adam, have you tried our new blueberry scones? Add one to your next order for $2. Boom, you're in, right? And when you take a step back and you think about just the kind of growth potential that you have when you can leverage that kind of data, right? It's insane. And it's not complicated. It's not crazy, but actually sitting down to look at it, people just don't realize the capabilities that exist, I don't think.
Yep.
Because we never lived in that world, right? You had to put up a poster in your coffee shop and hope people saw it while they were waiting in line. Mm-hmm. Everything's right here now, right? So yeah, man, it's just it completely disrupted and changed routines, and B, created this iceberg of opportunity that we have just seen the tip of.
Yep. Yep. Oh, speaking of the devil, Pam Raymor's wife. We were just talking about you, Pam.
Hey, Pam.
One of the things that the Raymores have done throughout all this and are going to continue. Pam, we're talking about habits that you picked up during the pandemic that you're going to carry through. Is that they do reservations for their tastings now. So before it was just free for all, you know, come and go. But now that they set that up to, okay, we want to go to the Raymores tomorrow afternoon. You know, you and I, we have to call, get a reservation. Okay, what time would you like to come down? 2:30. Great. Here's our protocols. You know, give me your credit card number for a deposit, like that kind of thing. And I asked him, I said, man, what a great way to forecast your business. What a great way to forecast your labor that you need. Like if you have less reservations, you don't need to call in. You don't need to call Susie in to come in. It's like, oh, I can handle the reservations. We only have 3 or 4 of them, you know? So that's something they're going to carry through post pandemic. And it's just going to be another improvement for their business. But they literally had to sit down and talk about number 1, implementing it. Number 2, actually implement it. And number 3, make sure that it's a good experience and provide value for their customers. And it checked all 3 of those boxes. So yeah, it's exactly. Sorry, my son's texting me. His autocorrect just turned to he has to go get his shot. He goes, once I'm done with my shit, so I'll have to check my son's phone later on.
Interesting, T. Interesting.
Amazing. Oh, there you go. On record again. But no, I mean that's an improvement of their business that, you know, could they have done that 2 years ago and did reservations for their winery? Yes, but that might have provided friction for their business because nobody was doing reservations at wineries 2 years ago. They do it in restaurants all the time, but in the wineries, in the Finger Lakes, very few, if any, to be honest with you, we're doing reservations. But again, the buying public has been trained to know that this is now a thing. You have to make a reservation for a winery, and this is what they're going to carry through. So again, just another example of being open to the pot, you know, surveying, being what's the word I'm looking for? Being self-aware of what your business needs to do, but also being vigilant about reading the room and saying, what do I need to do to improve the experience so that people aren't interacting, so they don't have a huge crush of people, because we weren't allowed to do that. But now it's like, wait a minute, this improves my business moving forward. So you got to be open to it. You got to read the room. You got to execute. You got to talk about it, execute it, and make sure you provide value.
Yeah. And I think that's going to be, and I mean, we'll see how the next couple of months shake out, but that's going to be the exciting thing is that, you know, it's not necessarily replacing old ways of thinking and old ways of doing business. It's adding to it.
Yep.
Right. So like use my friend Alex as an example. Like those dudes have a robust online ordering and local delivery program that they did not have 14 months ago. Like, and I'm like significant revenue stream, right? So like, you don't like have that at the expense of your Saturday morning breakfast crowd or your religious coffee drinkers. Now that all that starts to come back, you have that delivery program and online ordering on top of that, right? Like we were talking about it, I think I'm pretty on record, like our guys at Burger Mondays, what Matt did with the family takeout style boxes that became massively popular for a lot of reasons, you know, and that really carried us through the pandemic there. Like that doesn't replace the dining room or the bar coming back. Now the dining room's coming back and the bar's coming back, and we still have that on top of there. You know, so that to me, that's what I'm most fired up about, is that, everybody just spent a year building these new revenue streams and these revenue extensions, right? And a lot of them, they did it to survive and get through it. But if you do that properly, great. Now you have like Toy Story, you have your shiny new Buzz Lightyear to still go with the rest of all of your toys that are still amazing, still work. So that's what weirdly, and mainly because like that's our responsibility with a lot of people, but that's what gets my juices flowing and gets me super pumped is, okay, what does this hybrid look like, right? Like if I hear the term like new normal one more time, my fucking head's gonna explode. But you have this like additional normal, right? It's going to be a hybrid. Like people are still gonna grocery shop, people are still gonna, come in and eat in the dining room, right? So like, great. And we already know how to serve them. That model's already built. We have that. Awesome. So if that starts to come back and those numbers start to trend more back to normal, great. But then you still have all of this new stuff that you just built layered on top of that. And I think for people to see what that looks like and what that feels like and what that does to your bank account at the end of the day, like that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yep. One of the habits I carried through out of necessity is getting up earlier than I want to get up, just so I can get an hour and a half of work done before the kids get up.
Yeah, my text box shows that. Thank you.
What's that?
So my text message inbox shows that. I wake up to that text from Ben the other day, 6:15 in the morning.
See, and I just assume everybody's going to follow the lead and get texts at 6:15 in the morning. See, I know you don't care because you won't even pay attention to it till you have your first coffee. So I don't mind texting you.
Correct.
But I still have West Coast. It's amazing. I actually still have West Coast and Hawaii clients that I'm texting with at 5:30 in the morning. I have two clients in California who are still awake and actually still get things done at 5:30 in the morning. And then Hawaii is still up. It's 11:30 at night there. So that's a hack I'm going to carry through. I've never been a morning person, but that's just one of the things that I find that I can get my inbox to zero from 5:30 in the morning till about 7:05 in the morning, and then the kids start stirring and make breakfast, get them going. But before, I would sleep until 7:05 with the kids, and I felt great and everything was fine. But all of a sudden, you go right into making breakfast. You go right into getting the kids out there, and Cazenovia pushed their arrival time back an hour this year. So before they had to be at school at 7:30 in the morning. Now it's 8:30 in the morning, and it's like all of a sudden I lose 7 to 8:30, and then I finally sit down at my computer. It's freaking 9 o'clock, before I get any work done. And so for me, that was the hack. That was the biggest hack that I'm going to carry is. It settles my mind and sets myself up for a successful day. Because if I can clear out everything that happened between, 9 p.m. and 5 a.m. in my inbox, which a lot of stuff happens, if I can just get that out, or if I don't have any inbound stuff, I usually get just 2 or 3 sentences, and I've really learned this is going to sound funny for me, to not be overly verbose in emails through all this too. Like I'm almost using emails as text messages. I'm almost writing them in the same way, and people don't care anymore. They literally do not care. They just want the meat of the information. If you have that relationship. So I'll just get, with my entire client list, I'll just get an email out to almost everybody before 7 a.m. just to say, hey, here's what's happening today. Here's what I'm working on. You'll hear from me by this time. And it settles everything. But that's one of the hacks that I'm absolutely going to, it also helps that's when Siobhan gets up and has to leave for work too. So, I'll get up and make a cup of coffee for both of us. And we kind of have, we have 2 or 3 minutes before she runs out the door. And we didn't have that time before. I was sleeping through this whole thing. So, and it's my point of saying that is it's made me so much more productive. I mean, I've told you offline, like my business is from where it was a year ago. I mean, I'm up 35, 40% of where I was a year ago. It's like, man, I know there's opportunity in crisis, but it's the people that double down during the crisis that are not even waiting till now to reap the benefits. We're reaping benefits from the moment they started. Eric Crone says he's up by 4:30 and rocking the Gmail by 5. I ain't got that gear, bro. I got 5:30, but I do not have 4:30 in me. No chance. Good to hear from you. I hope you're doing well. But yeah, man, what's one habit you've picked up throughout all this that you're going to carry through?
So like it's weird, dude. Like my shit hasn't changed. I think kind of the one nice thing is that I will say that like clients have gotten on like much more of a text message level. Like I'd like to think that I mitigated it pretty well before, but the amount of meetings that have been converted to a couple of emails or a couple of text messages
Yep.
are night and day.
Yep.
And even just like the time that saves, and we're fortunate. I mean, a lot of our, maybe not a lot, but like probably like half our clients are like right downtown or close to it. So we don't spend a ton of time traveling to meetings, period. But I mean, we were talking about it the other day. I have to go out to Sayre, Pennsylvania, and I'm going to spend more time driving in the meeting than I'll probably spend in the meeting, which is fine. You pick and choose your things there. But I think that's been kind of the big thing for me is just like, and it's been great for my blood pressure because you know how I get when I feel like time is wasting. I get frustrated when a call is 10 minutes and should be 3. So I think that's been the biggest thing for me. But, outside of that, it's been the same since probably, the winter before pandemic. Like, I have to wake up early. I have to get some kind of physical activity in just to clear your mind and decompress and kind of get set for the day. But other than that, it's kind of the beauty of living 40 yards away from the office is that, my life was pretty unencumbered. I'm probably the top 1% of the top 1% on that one.
The last thing, I just realized what time it was. I do have to run. Got to go get his COVID shot. It's SHOT, Taven. Taking the coffee just for the sake of taking the coffee, I think is now out of form. I really do. I really think that. And I'm not saying be antisocial. I'm not saying do it for friendly purposes. But if you're strictly using that as a tactic for biz deving, I think you're out of form in throughout all this. If it's a 7-minute Zoom, I'll take a 7-minute Zoom, or I'll say, I have 10 minutes on my walk, or if I have this or this, like that to me has become the new coffee. There's still a lot of business to be had face to face. I don't ever want that to be out of form, but just the prospecting, let me buy you a coffee, sit down. To me, like you said, it's going to take me longer to get down to the coffee place than it is to have the coffee meeting, because then all of a sudden you feel obligated to sit there and chit chat for 45 minutes. And then it's rude to look at your phone during the 45 minutes, but then all of a sudden a client is blowing you up because there's a production problem happening. It's like, I don't know. I can't quantify how much time I've picked up not doing those out of necessity, but I don't foresee myself ever going back to that, because I was that guy. I was the 2 to 3 week, 2 to 3 times a week guy that would agree to the coffee from 10:15, which would bleed into like 11 or 11:15. And there's still a lot of quality there, but I'm saying if you're strictly looking at it from an efficiency standpoint, and you're strictly looking at it from picking up an Instacart, from Wegmans kind of thing, I think that's been cut out of my lexicon. I really do, in a good way, and it's been reflective in my business because of it.
Dude, that's probably the thing I'm most grateful for, because I have not said yes to one of those meetings in probably 3 years.
Yeah.
Just because I've never taken one. Like, man, that was worth the hour. Because like I think what you've seen, like the other thing, and it's not so much a habit, but a big thing is that I think the one thing this has shown is you get down to the root of, is this one of my people or not? Right? Like,
Yeah.
like somebody who's one of my people that I want to work with, they don't have an hour to bullshit sitting down
Right.
with coffee. You know what I mean? It's a 10-minute call or it's by text. Like I'm going through it right now with somebody who reached out. He's like, hey man, thinking of hiring a marketing agency. I need this, and this. I have these 4 questions. Do you have a half an hour, which is key, to meet next week? Let me know what I need ready to make it easy use for you. And I'm just like whether something happens there or not, we'll see. But just the fact that you're that respective of your own time and that you have everything so well thought out, I'm like, this is one of my people. Versus, hey, yeah, let me buy you a coffee next month. I'm like, no. Like, I'm sure you're a lovely person, but no.
Yep.
Hard pass.
It has nothing to do with you. Nothing to do with you. So on that, there's no chance I'm going to remember what episode. 56.
Oh shit. No. I think 57. I think 54.
No.
I think chronologically it would be 56, but we missed 2. 54.
We missed 2. We're
54.
He's always right. He's always right. That's why he's a good partner.
Say it louder for the people in the back, man.
I'm off to get my teenager vaccinated, for the record. So we're taking care of our 3-foot circle, right?
Hell yeah.
All we can do. All right. Episode 54. We appreciate you. We will be back next week. I promise. Hey, it's gonna be 72. Get out there, man. Go spend those bucks. We appreciate you. We will see you next week.
See you.